Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I want to talk about my thesis. I finally finished it, I finally got the results, I passed, and now is the right time to talk about it. Yeah, it's about deconstructions of femininity in the Harry Potter novels, and the main focus will be on Hermione Granger. So what does that mean? I worked for, I think, almost 4 months on this paper. And yeah, it's my final paper. It's the one I had to write in order to get my bachelor degree. And yeah, I think we get just right into it. So of course I first had to get a table of content. I can't just dive right into it. I can't just start talking about Harry Potter. So the first thing I had to do was, of course, writing an introduction saying what this paper is supposed to do, namely to find out how women are portrayed in the Harry Potter novels, and yeah, how women are generally portrayed, and also how Hermione is portrayed, if she's rather feminine or if she's rather masculine, or maybe even something in between. Before I do that, I had to take a look at some gender theories and feminism in general. And what feminism initially wanted to achieve is equal rights. So women didn't always have the rights they have today, so this is how it all emerged. In the first wave, they wanted to get a right to vote. Then later on in the second wave, they asked for equality in the workspace and things like that. And well, I had to explain what feminism is today. So we have, on the one hand, liberal feminism, which basically says that women should be equal to men, but also men should be equal to women. That means both are equal to each other, no one is superior. That is also the feminism I support. Well, and then there is another sort of feminism I don't really support, that says that women will always be weaker than men or not equal to them. And yeah, this is also portrayed, or this is also still the case in today's society. So first I had to also distinguish what is femininity and what is masculinity. So I found some sources that said that femininity usually is associated with networking, community, love, caring, whereas masculinity is often associated with power, aggression, independence, stuff like that. So you immediately see the difference between emotion and reason. So women are usually emotional, whereas men are reasonable. So this is one of the, this is not what I support, okay? This is one of the sources I worked with. And another source then said that femininity simply means that you can identify with the female sex. So this is a completely different thing. So what does femininity mean? It just means being a woman, feeling like a woman, just being a woman basically. So once I figured that out, I had to take a look at femininity in general in the Harry Potter world. So then we should take a look directly at Hogwarts. So we have the 4 heads of the houses, and that is already pretty equal. We have Severus Snape and Phileas Flitwick on the one side, and then Minerva McGonagall and Professor Sprout. What was her first name? Pomona Sprout on the other side. So that is already pretty much equal. But now you may say, hey, what about Molly Weasley? She's a housewife. We don't know if she has a job. Apparently she doesn't have one, and she just stays at home and cares for her children. But she doesn't really seem like an oppressed character, so why should you be a housewife or houseman? So this doesn't immediately say that you're oppressed or that you're taking on a specific gender role. As you know, Molly Weasley plays a very important role in the final battle of Hogwarts. She is the one who kills Bellatrix Lestrange, so you can see that she isn't oppressed. She is one of the most powerful witches. Actually manages to kill the most powerful Death Eater, so that is one thing. you can't use against her. And then of course we have Lily Potter, as well as I already said, Molly Weasley, who both are very strong symbols for femininity. When Molly kills Bellatrix Lestrange, she does it to protect her daughter Ginny, and she does that because of her motherly love. Just as much Lily Potter sacrificed herself in order to save Harry's life. So motherly love, and yeah, this is a very strong symbol throughout the whole series, and this goes along with femininity, obviously. So this is a very strong symbol that you should keep in mind as well. Even when you look at other characters in the Harry Potter series, just for example, Luna, Cho, Ginny, they are also all fighters. They are all in Dumbledore's army, trying to fight the oppression happening in Hogwarts during their during the Half-Blood Prince. So you can see that women don't really seem to be oppressed in the Harry Potter world. They all seem to have yeah, they all have a certain role, and they are all important, and yeah, crucially determine the plot, and they are the reason also the plot progresses. This will be shown later on when we talk about Hermione as well. This is also one source agreed with me, saying that women are not second class citizens. They don't just walk in the shadow of the man in the series. Emotionality is one of the things that is most often associated with femininity, and we can see Hermione being quite emotional for at least in the first books. By the way, this thesis is entirely about the books. I didn't focus on the movies, so keep that in mind. Yeah, for example, we can see Hermione crying in Philosopher's Stone when she runs away, hides in the bathroom, and she just breaks down crying. Or after the Jewel Ball, she's also very hurt, and we can see her crying and whining. And this has been shown in the books pretty often. I've seen so many parts where Hermione is portrayed, or where verbs describe her as whining, crying, screaming, all these kind of things. But I mean, isn't it normal when your friends abandon you, talking about Philosopher's Stone now, that you're hurt and you're crying? So I don't think that is a certain weakness of femininity, but just a natural emotion. I mean, anybody would feel that way. And after the Jewel Ball, well, it was the same thing. Ron said so many nasty things to Hermione. He said something about uniting with the enemy, and that is just, it was very rude of Ron to say something like that. And I can actually understand Hermione. So yeah, I don't think that emotion is only a feature of femininity. And well, Hermione is also very reasonable, as we can see later on, because she is often the one who helps Harry to get out of his miseries, but we will talk about that in a bit. So another feature of femininity is beauty, obviously, and as we know, Hermione isn't the most beautiful character. I'm not talking about Emma Watson. As I said, this is entirely about the books, but Hermione is described as having big teeth, long curly hair, and just being a normal girl. She then transforms herself into a, well, beautiful young woman in the Goblet of Fire. And yeah, she just completely changes. Her hair becomes sleeky, and she shortens her teeth. She just changes her overall or her whole outer appearance. And why does she do that? She does it because she wants to feel beautiful that evening. She wants to, well, she is going with Victor Crumb, who's portraying Durmstrang, so obviously Hermione wants to look good when she's dancing with him. She's not only Victor Crumb's partner, but in a way she's also portraying Hogwarts, so yeah, she just wants to look nice. And I mean, there is nothing wrong with it. When we're going to a, I don't know, to a party or to a dinner and everyone's is dressed very nicely, you want to look nice as well. So yeah, she doesn't change because anybody forces her to do it, but because she wants to feel beautiful. Even the day after, she tells Harry that she she wanted to do it one time because she wanted to, but she wouldn't do it on a daily basis because it's too much of a hassle. I think that's what she really says. And yeah, so we can see beauty in her during Goblet of Fire, but it's not her main feature. That's how I would describe it. Okay, what I already said about emotion is that well, another point I wanted to talk about is vulnerability, and that's kind of what I already talked about, namely how she broke down crying in Philosopher's Stone or in Goblet of Fire, and she sometimes is really yeah, just hurt. And the thing is, often when it comes to femininity, we have these stereotypes of networking and having other female friends to talk to, but Hermione doesn't really have that. She mostly, well, she's kind of friends with Luna and a few others as well, but she still spends most of her time with Harry and Ron. There is yeah, we just have to admit that. And what I thought is that Hermione maybe has some male tendencies according to the stereotypical masculinity, because Hermione is often the one who is reasonable. It's not Harry who's reasonable, it's not Ron. As I said, Ron sometimes breaks down screaming, he goes completely mental, he's just very unfair and says things without even thinking about them. So I don't think that Ron is very reasonable, and Harry as well. He, for example, do you remember when Sirius Black dies and Harry just wants to run into the Vale, but Remus Lupin stops him? Harry just stops thinking that moment. He also runs after Bellatrix Lestrange without thinking of the danger, and this is only one situation. I don't want to point out everything, otherwise I'll be talking for 10 hours, but there are so many situations when Harry just doesn't think what he's doing. He doesn't think about the consequences, and then there is Hermione who tells him to stop or how to do certain things. For example, even during the Tri-Wizard tournament, Hermione is the one who often gives him advice how to deal with the tasks, or there are so many situations where Hermione eventually helps him to progress in his quest and in his adventures, and without her he wouldn't even be able to do most of the things he wants to do. But yeah, I think Hermione's most important feature is her intellectual superiority. It is shown throughout all books. In Chamber of Secrets, she is the one who finds out who or what the threat is. Namely, it's she writes on a piece of paper the word pipes, and she's the one who finds out that it's actually the basilisk or the snake hiding in there. In Order of the Phoenix, she is the one who lures Umbridge into the forest, and she accepts torture. She's the one who encourages Harry and Half-Blood Prince to persuade Slughorn in order to retrieve or to get the missing memory of Slughorn concerning Voldemort and the Horcruxes, and even in Deathly Hallows, yeah, Hermione has to destroy one of the Horcruxes. So you can see she is really the one who helps Harry progressing in his adventures, in his plots, in his quest, whatever he's doing. She is always the one who's giving him, well, the final advice, the final clue, so he can actually yeah, do what he has to do. On the other side, Hermione also has strong leadership qualities. This is already shown due to her intellectuality, but also the organization she founded, which is SPEW, the Society for the Promotion of Elfish Welfare. She struggles a bit with this organization because she fails to recognize that it's the elf's nature to be enslaved, to live in slavery. That's what they like, and that's something she doesn't really understand. She treats elves as if they are humans, and she really struggles to understand that. There is one exception, namely Dobby, who loves to live in freedom, but even Dobby says that the wage Dumbledore offers him is too much, and he doesn't even want that many holidays and days off in general. So you can see that even Dobby is still an elf. He still has that, it's still his nature to be an elf. He is not a human, and that's something Hermione eventually recognizes, but she still struggles very much. And something that is very critical is that at one point she hides socks and hats in the Gryffindor common room in order to lure elves into freedom, and that's something you can't do. You have to do the things the oppressed want, and you just can't force them to do what you want them to do. So what I thought as a conclusion is that Hermione has feminine as well as masculine character traits. She kind of has, or she kind of is androgynous because she has both of them. Whereas the masculine traits are still a bit more prevalent, but that was just my opinion. Yeah, she has beauty. She can make herself beautiful if she wants to. So yeah, but still her main characteristic is her intellectuality, and that is something that cannot be denied. That's what she is known for. And yeah, this is of course based on the stereotypes of femininity and masculinity. I somewhere had to determine what femininity and masculinity means, so I kind of had to be stereotypical. But yeah, in the end what I came up with is that she's androgynous in a way, and yeah, she connects kind of the both of best worlds. So yeah, that was my thesis. I worked on this for 4 months, and please take note that I just gave you a short recap. This paper is so much more in depth. I have so many quotes, so many examples in there. I only mentioned a few, and I think this video is already getting pretty long. So I wanted to talk about this. I hope you enjoyed that. I just love Harry Potter, and it was always my dream to write my final thesis about Harry Potter as well. I love literature, so why not connect something, or why not do something that I really love. So if you have any questions about this paper, or you want to know something more in more specifically or in more detail, then let me know. I can tell you what I wrote here. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see each other in the next one. Bye!